This Bible story of Judges 15 will leave you stunned and wordless. Welcome, souls. Your guardian angels have a message for you today. The story of Samson in Judges 15 is one of the most powerful and dramatic accounts in the Bible. It's a tale of vengeance, betrayal, and divine power that leaves one in awe of how God's plans unfold even in the most challenging situations. As you read this narrative, prepare yourself to dive into a profound reflection on strength, faith, and the consequences of human actions. Type "I am ready to receive the message" to claim this. The unfolding of Samson's vengeance. Samson, chosen by God from birth, was endowed with extraordinary strength. He was set apart as a Nazirite, bound by a vow that included never cutting his hair. His life, however, was marked by a constant struggle between his divine purpose and his human weaknesses. In Judges 15, we see Samson's journey take a dark turn, driven by the desire for vengeance against the Philistines, who had wronged him. After his marriage to a Philistine woman went awry, Samson's anger and sense of betrayal grew. The Philistines, not only responsible for his heartbreak, also oppressed his people. The story begins with Samson returning to visit his wife, only to discover that her father had given her to another man. This ignited a fire within Samson, leading him to seek revenge in a way that would send shockwaves throughout the region. Type "I will not be defeated by setbacks" to claim this. The foxes and the fields. In a move that was as cunning as it was destructive, Samson captured 300 foxes. He tied them together in pairs, attaching a torch to each pair's tails. Lighting the torches, Samson released the foxes into the Philistines' fields, vineyards, and olive groves. The fire spread rapidly, consuming everything in its path. The devastation was unimaginable, leaving the Philistines in utter ruin and despair. This act of destruction wasn't just a personal vendetta, it was a declaration of war. Samson was not only avenging the wrong done to him, but also striking a blow against the enemies of his people. The Philistines, however, would not let this act go unpunished. They sought to retaliate, setting the stage for an even greater confrontation. Type "I claim victory over my enemies" to claim this. The Philistines' retaliation. In their fury, the Philistines sought out the cause of their ruin. When they discovered that Samson was behind it, they took revenge by burning his wife and her father alive. This brutal act only fueled Samson's anger. He vowed not to rest until he had avenged their deaths. With divine strength coursing through him, Samson struck down many Philistines, leaving them trembling in fear. Despite being outnumbered and pursued, Samson was undeterred. He retreated to the cave in the rock of Etam, where he awaited the next move. The Philistines, determined to capture him, invaded Judah, demanding that the men of Judah hand Samson over to them. Feeling the pressure, 3,000 men of Judah went to the cave and convinced Samson to surrender, promising not to harm him themselves, but to deliver him to the Philistines. Type I will overcome all obstacles to claim this. The jawbone of a donkey. Bound with new ropes, Samson was handed over to the Philistines. As they approached him, shouting in triumph, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson. The ropes on his arms became like charred flax, and the bindings dropped from his hands. Finding the fresh jawbone of a donkey, Samson seized it and struck down 1,000 Philistines. This miraculous victory was a testament to God's power working through Samson. Despite the odds, despite being betrayed by his own people, Samson emerged victorious, leaving the Philistines in a state of utter defeat. This battle, fought with nothing more than the jawbone of a donkey, highlighted the divine strength that Samson possessed and the fearlessness with which he wielded it. Type my strength comes from above to claim this. The aftermath and reflection. After his victory, Samson was exhausted and cried out to God, fearing that he might die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised. God, in his mercy, opened up a hollow place in Lehi, and water came out of it. Samson drank, his strength was restored, and he was revived. The place was called En-Hakkore, and it stands as a reminder of God's provision even in the most desperate of times. This chapter in Samson's life is a powerful reminder of the consequences of our actions, the nature of vengeance, and the power of God's intervention. Samson's story is complex, filled with moments of divine triumph as well as human failure. It forces us to reflect on our own lives, our own battles, and the source of our strength. Type I trust in God's provision to claim this. The deeper message. The story of Samson in Judges 15 isn't just about physical strength, it's about spiritual resilience. It's about how God can use even the most flawed individuals to accomplish his purposes. Samson's life, marked by a cycle of victory and defeat, shows us that no matter how many times we stumble, God's plan for us remains intact. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. As we journey through life, we face our own Philistines, challenges, betrayals, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. But just as Samson found strength in God, so can we. The battles we fight are not just physical, they are spiritual. And with God on our side, we can overcome anything. Type I am strong in spirit to claim this. The power of faith. One of the most significant takeaways from this story is the power of faith. Samson's victories were not just the result of his physical prowess, but of his unwavering faith in God. Even when he was bound, surrounded by enemies, and betrayed by his own people, Samson's faith did not waver. He knew that God was with him, and that belief gave him the courage to fight, even against overwhelming odds. Faith is a powerful force. It gives us the strength to keep going when everything around us tells us to give up. It's the foundation upon which we build our lives, the anchor that holds us steady in the storm. Samson's story reminds us that with faith, we can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and emerge victorious. Type "My faith is unshakable" to claim this.